If you want more Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, SUI, and whatever coins you're riding for this bull run, listen up, because I'm going to give you a way where you can put your assets to work to get more of the coins you hold to sell for more dollar values in the peak of the bull run. And I'm going to do it in a way, if you have the assets already, that you don't need to invest any fresh money. Whether that's making $100 a day, $200 a day, $500 a day, heck, even we have one of our guys in our group making $9,000 on his best day. Averagely, he's working out about £2,000 to £3,000, but one of his best days when fees were high, he made $9,466, which is crazy. Now, the whole point is, no matter if you're at your starting point, you can get more coins today without investing any more money. And that's the goal of cryptocurrency in a nutshell, is to get the most coins possible. All right, let's break it down. How to earn $100 per day. I think that's most people's goal, because most people want to make about $3,000 per month, which can do damage to their real-time job, if not replace the real-time job. Depends where you live and depends on your expenses, of course. So I want you to think real quick and maybe comment below, how would I get more coins without putting any fresh capital? Now, of course, we're on a DeFi channel here. You already know the answer, but the whole goal is to, example, if we have Bitcoin, is to create more Bitcoin. Now, again, you're not going to create a full Bitcoin, but you can buy a tiny amount of Bitcoin with your Bitcoin. If you have Ethereum, your whole goal is to get more Ethereum. XRP, stacking XRP. Solana, SUI. And even if you don't hold these coins, whatever other coin you're holding, there's pretty much always a good pool to stack. There's very rarely a coin that you hold that is a top asset that you can't at least put some damage on. And again, this is to get more dollar value in each of these coins if you're planning to sell at the peak of this bull run, which I think would be smart. So the first step to finding a liquidity pool that makes sense, because it has to make sense. If it's not got on a good platform, it's risky. The platform isn't good, like Uniswap, ETH, etc. Or if the TVL doesn't make sense, there's not enough money in there, that's risky. Or if the APY is only like 1 to 5% per year, in my opinion, it's not worth it. So we need to take 5 of the diagrams that we're going to show below to dive in for it to make sense for you to invest. Now, I want to give you a 99, that's my promise, a 99.99% risk-free positions for you to get more coins. The only way you fuck this up is if you were to do and send your coins to the wrong wallet, if you understand how to set up liquidity pools. That's the only way. So that's your fault. My goal is to show you the pools and put your money to work. So eventually one day you'll make enough money where you can work with us and we can scale that even further. So makes sense? Good. Let's jump into it. So the boxes we must tick to hit a good pool is, firstly, is when I decide to put my assets in a pool, I need to tick off a few things. I need platform security, I need APYs that make sense, and I need TVLs really above 100K, if not a little bit more, in solid positions. So again, you have a DeFi pool, you have the TVL above 100K. If no, it's too risky, start again. If it is the APYs above 5% per month? That's what I aim for in safe coins. If no, look again, in my opinion. If it's about 5%, you're fine with that, do it. If yes, deploy. Perfect example is SUI, USDC on Turbo Finance. It is got a liquidity of $3 million and the 24-hour volume currently is 12. Okay, so again, you can custom range here and it's paying 120%. Again, 60% range is crazy. That's 10% per month. And that is an example range currently. It could change. It could go up and it could go down. Again, Jesse was making over 1K per day where he had a fuck ton of SUI and USDC and he was stacking as much SUI as possible. Now he's transitioned to Solana and doing the same on Orica. But that's an example of having SUI and USDC to print more SUI, December, January 2026 or whatever, you sell for more dollar value and you make a fuck ton more money. Your second box to tick is making sure you're not a Jeffrey and always be an Adonis. So what is an Adonis and what is a Jeffrey? I used to talk about this a lot on my main channel, Jake Gordon Crypto, and I still have that. Go and subscribe if you want to see more broader content. But pretty much a Jeffrey, he ignores everything. He chases memes. Memes are fine to chase if you built up a good portfolio, by the way. But the Adonis understands that he ticks the boxes off, he's in solid positions, and then maybe he goes for the more riskier pools or riskier positions on his portfolio. So again, you understand the coins to deploy. The right way would be choosing a good platform. There's many more, but these are our main platforms. VFAT, Orica, Turbo Finance, Uniswap, etc., etc. Look at APYs you're willing to accept, 5 to 10% per month, okay, is what I aim for on blue chips. First month, if you're at $5,000 to $10,000, first to 2 months, scale beyond that and compound. The Jeffrey way is buying coins you would never hold for the bull run. Look for 1,000% APYs. Realize that the assets you're holding are going down and down week after week. The fees aren't keeping up with asset depreciation. Flip-flop to other coins and lose another 20, 50%. And then you decide you want to be a trader. Okay, there's 2 examples I want to give you. Here is a pool here with wrapped Ethereum and some other coin. I don't know what this coin is. And the TVL, believe it or not, is 57,000%. It would take you no amount of money to be a millionaire every single month. But the problem is, I don't know what the current time of this price is, but when I made this video, the price is going down. So that 57,000% is not going to make up for Taro, whatever this coin is, going down. Again, Taro, guys, if you're watching this, I'm not dissing your project. I'm just trying to share something to guys that look and start liquidity pools. This would not be very smart if the other asset is going down, because you're going to be constantly sold to taro in a range pool. Understand that. So your action steps, number 3, is you set a goal. In this case, it was $3,000 per month, $100 per day. Okay. Well, if the goal was 3K and you had a current portfolio of $30,000, you need about 8 to 10% per month to hit those numbers. It's very effing simple. And this doesn't include compounding, which we can talk about later, where you probably only need about 24 to 25K starting out. And then you begin shopping. I've got a black AVAX, it's risky, but that's 20% per month full range, okay? I only needed $15,000 for me to hit 3K per month, which is crazy. You have 4% Ethereum and XRP per month, but assets will go up either way. XRP and Ethereum are probably going to have a good bull run. That's how Brock is making over $4,000 per day, 16K per month. And then you could look at an AVAX pool that I found really quick here, which is 12% per month, starting at 15% per range. You can scale this wider if you need. And again, AVAX is good because it's probably going to 4x in this bull run by end of 2025, I believe. So $25,000 would get you to 3K per month. Honestly, 15K is probably where you're going to need to be up because AVAX are going to go up so much, in my opinion. And that is what you would do. Action step number 2 is you set up the pools. So again, I always recommend, depending on your portfolio, is aim for 2 to 3 pools when starting out. Decide how much you want to go in for each, and then you begin shopping. DeFi position 1, DeFi position 2, DeFi position 3. Don't open up so many where you can't control yourself, because that's like the Jeffrey that has 50, 60, 70 coins with $100 each. The best way is to maybe have 8 to 15 coins, the honest investor, and then maybe 3 pools to start off, and then scale beyond that if you decide to do so. Your action step number 3 is to compound and reinvest. You have 3 positions. Your options are, number 1 is to compound and stack more coins, okay? Number 2 is to use fees to sell for the bull run of high conviction plays. And number 3 is to sell fees for cash to live. I don't think this is a good strategy right now, especially if you're in cryptocurrency because of the bull run. I think if you're surviving right now, e.g. you've got food on the table, your car is paid for, your rent is paid for, your mortgage, you shouldn't do this. You should delay gratification for a couple more months till this peak bull run and then sell for dollar value, because if AVAX goes up, if XRP goes up, which I think they all will do, and you probably believe that as well, you're going to miss out on so much more dollar value to then delay gratification. Again, to be clear, there's no right or wrong answer here. It's just up to you and your individual goals at the current time. So again, I actually broke some pools down here. If I was looking at Bitcoin, for example, on VFAT, what I would like to do is I like to filter by the safest pools first. Again, I want to be super, super safe in starting pools, okay, especially when I'm starting out. So I filter by the highest TVL pools, and I filter with APY of 100 to 200% if my goal is at 8 to 10% per month. So again, if you're looking at a Bitcoin pool, I've got one pulled up here right now, and you can see here, there is a Bitcoin and Ethereum pool currently paying out 100% per year, which is ticking your boxes. High TVL, etc., etc. You're stacking 2 coins you believe in. Ethereum example here, again, it's probably on VFAT. Ethereum, Bitcoin, again, it's the same pool because we just looked at that one. That's Ethereum, Bitcoin. Again, solid coins, blue chip assets, number 1, number 2. XRP, again, it's probably going to be Brock's example. There you go, it's 105%. Now, the Solana pool, you can really get crazy with this, so I want to keep that clear, meaning you can go against another meme coin. Again, I shared in a previous video. There's a guy in our group that was doing this in Avocado and Solana, and he was making a fuck ton of fees, but Avocado was obviously a meme coin, but he got lucky with that one. It caught 50x. But you can see here, if I filter by, fees, for example, you can see here that there's so much fees, okay? And if I go by TVL, which is obviously where you can get risky, you can see here there's a coin called Pibble in Solana, which is paying 9,000, like greater than this amount, right? But you can see the TVL is $117. So you need to make sure that you understand the asset you're comparing in is so important, because you don't want to enter a pool with a TVL of $44. You're going to be the only guy in that pool, and you're not going to get those fees, and chances are it's probably a shit coin. Again, SUI, you can come on Turbo Finance and you can look at just their basic ones. Again, you're going to see the same thing here as Solana. You can get very sidetracked with APYs here. I think Lofi is a good coin, although it's a meme coin. You can see here IKEA USDC, which is paying 1,433%. If you like IKEA and you had IKEA before this video, do that. But if you didn't, I wouldn't chase that number. You can see here again, SUI USDC, it's paying 89%, which is pretty much just ticking at 8% per month, just a little bit lower. But that would tick the box for me going forward. Now remember, your ability to make money in this bull run comes down for a few decisions. If you're trying to make the 6-figure goal, you need to ask yourself, well, what coins do you buy? If you believe Ethereum at current prices today is a 1.5 to 2x, does that hit your goals? If your goal is 100K. Solana, maybe a 2 to 3x. Does that hit your goals? HBAR, maybe a 5 to 10x. Does that hit your goals? If it's no, you need to go back and choose different coins if your goal is genuinely this, okay? Again, depending on your starting point, it might be $1 million, it might be 10K, it might even be $1,000. And if it's yes, well, that's your decision ended. So hopefully This gets you started with liquidity pools. And again, if you want to get one-to-one help and you have a decent sized portfolio, you can book a free call. First link in description. I'll probably pin it as well. And our goal is to get everybody to 10K per month. And if you qualify for that, we will make you an offer. And if you don't, it's a free call anyway. So hopefully this was making sense on how you can make $100 per day in your absolute safest coins: Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, SUIs, etc. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.